What the fuck is that, Vinny Beedle?
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Scumbag Vinny. These folks right here have the biggest scam going. And even the guys I did take money from that were new in the game, I gave them experiences that they would never have gotten, man. And people did. Scumbag Vinny, bro.
And there was like 8 comics on the show, and they all sucked. And he got on stage, and he was like, "Vinny, did you just stop at a red light and say, hey, you want to open for Artie Lang tonight?"
Vinny Beedle's a good man, and we'll be back.
Well, I used to go to concerts when I was a teenager, and I would sell fake tickets to events.
I've made it clear I have no problem that you scammed numerous people.
No.
It's such an important part of my background.
If somebody's trying to get into comedy and somebody rips them off so bad that they have to quit comedy, you've done them a favor.
This movie needed Vinny Beedle to show up in like a stolen Ford Taurus. What up, it's Bam Margera. Go listen to the best podcast in the world, SCUMTOWN.
Vinny Beedle is who? Compton Ass?
Oh yeah, Compton Ass. We want a fresh piece of shit, man.
You're a bigger scumbag than Vinny Beedle. Yeah, man.
Vinny, I want you to take down the president now, or I will have the legal authorities get involved with you.
Now that I found out that this whole thing was a scam, I kind of really like him.
Yo, Lane. We are back. This is episode 4.5. This is a bonus. We have a very extra exclusive for you guys today. On the show, we have talked about last week the Terry Kennedy situation, the Compton Ass Terry situation that has been going on in the media. It's not really in the media, especially as Compton Ass Terry. Anybody in the BAM world's not really hearing about it as much, which is why we're covering it now. Lane, I did see that No Jumper covered this about 7 months ago, and I did a little bit of a deep dive, and what I was able to discover is that similar to me in the BAM situation where everybody was pinning a lot of stuff on me being the cause of it, being that I was a new guy around BAM during what the crazy shit he had going on. During this Terry Kennedy situation, which if you have not heard the episode 3, go and listen on the YouTube channel. Please subscribe, like, comment on that, your thoughts. I will touch on it a little bit. Terry Kennedy, Compton Ass Terry from the Viva La Bam show, professional skater, and basically social media personality, was arrested with, I believe it was a first-degree murder charge. I'm not sure what the update is because I can't find much on it, about him beating a man to death inside of a hotel room in Illinois. And that man is a skater that Terry actually hung out with. And what I've read about the story now and gotten some more information, that it was an argument with his girl, that the kid got involved. And similar to a story I told last week on the podcast, TK punched him and his head hit the floor. And then, we're not sure really what the details are after that. But as I dug deep, I was hearing a lot about a manager that was working with TK, and a lot of people on social media were pinning this guy as being the reason that this was happening. So I just felt like, as only a Scumbag Vinny fashion, we give that man the opportunity to come on the show and speak on it. So right now, I just want to welcome to the show, Lane, Habibi, who is known on Instagram as Beverly Hills Habibi, and he's with us now. So Habibi, what's going on, my brother?
Yo, what's good with it, man?
So I'm glad that I found the right guy. I noticed that your social media that I seen in videos was not one that was popping up when I was searching you. Did you lose your Instagram through this, or?
Yeah, I lost a ton of them. A lot of the fans, flagged it and did everything they had to do, but I don't blame nobody. It is what it is.
Right. Now, this interview is going to have some fun questions. It's probably going to have some tough ones. So if there's anything that, we ask you that feels a little crazy, I mean, just know that we're coming at it from a place of positivity. And if it comes off a certain way, then we're just trying to put information out there for people so that they can judge you the way that you should be judged, not without you having like a voice of your own. You know what I'm saying? So first of all, the first question I have for you, and Lane has some questions as well. My producer, Lane, who's in California right now. I'm in Florida. Where are you at right now?
Well, I'm in California.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So you're out in Lane's neighborhood. So basically the first question I was going to ask you is, were you Terry Kennedy's manager? Is that like a true report?
Yeah, it's definitely true.
Now, what did he need a manager for as far as like what he was doing on a day-to-day basis?
Shit, he needed a manager for everything, somebody to help him get back to where he was at,
Right. So you guys discussed possibly getting him back into the entertainment business, or at least kind of earning something off of skating, or
Yeah, exactly. We was making a lot of progress fast. As
how
you
long were
probably
you
could
working
imagine.
with him? How long were you working with him?
Probably about 8 to 9 months, but I known him
Okay.
my whole life, you know?
Right. You've been friends with him for a while, or at least known him.
Yeah.
So why is it that people think that you have anything to do with this?
Shit, I don't know. I was in California and they was in Chicago when it happened.
Right. So you were not there when it happened, but was he
Definitely
on
wasn't.
any kind of like drugs or anything? I know he smokes weed from what I would talk to, because I don't know if you heard the intro of my show. He's in the intro, and I'm friends with Bam, and there were a few times that Bam would call me with him. The only thing I've ever heard from Bam is that he's a weed smoker.
Yeah, you know, him and Bam hung out a lot in San Diego and riding around and doing their stuff. But honestly, what skaters not on drugs are doing some type of drug, you know?
Okay. Well, the reason I ask is because if there is any kind of substance abuse involved in any kind of way, that would probably help your case. Not to try to air him out, but at the same time, if he's on
but
meth, you know.
anybody that know TK, he went through a drug phase, you know, experimenting with all these drugs and traveling the world from here to Japan, and you're gonna get caught up in something, you know.
What kind of drugs? I mean, is it more like a opiate or like a downer, or more of an upper, like a coke?
Man, I want to say a concoction of everything, you know.
I see speedball in it.
Yeah, he was a rock star.
Right. So you have no idea why people think you're involved, but is it because I mean, what do you think is the reason?
I believe it's because TK is a lot of these kids' superhero.
Right.
And anytime you have a superhero, you need a super villain. And
Lane, does that sound familiar at all?
and
a scumbag Vinny, some would say.
Scumbag Habibi, maybe.
Yeah, you know, Habibi's the most hated dude in the skateboard industry right now, I believe.
Well, I wouldn't count your chickens before they hatch. I'm like a long-term hate that people put into me, you know, because it's been a good 3 years that I've been hated. But you're on your way. You're on your way to being as hated.
Hey, look, you still got a page, right? Look,
actually, I have been banned from many social media apps and that kind of thing. But like you, we just keep creating them, right? We're in the business of things moving. Now, what is your experience, talent relations manager? Do you have any, or was it more like I just want to step up and take this opportunity and work with a legend?
Well, in my neighborhood, I'm probably, you know, got a lot of respect. So it was more of a helping, you know, I own different businesses, but this was something I did to help a friend, you know?
Yeah, like a new venture for you.
Yeah, like, you know, I managed people before, I do marketing, so.
Well, this is definitely a hard lesson in working with celebrities. I will tell you that.
Yeah,
is that,
yeah,
you know,
definitely.
You won't be able to control the narrative too much.
Yeah,
Lane, what is it that you want to ask Habibi? Is there anything you want to?
I was kind of wondering what were some things that like you and TK had worked on that you guys had going before all this happened? Because I'm a skater. I've followed TK my whole life, and it kind of seemed like he was completely gone for a few years, and then I saw him for a couple months, and then this happened.
Right. So what was that? What was the story with that?
Yeah, that's how he was. He was gone. He was in this world, you know, the astro world. And I tried to bring him back, try to get him his sponsors back. We designed shoes, we designed merch. We was about to drop some NFTs. So
it's a lot of brainstorming it was a lot of brainstorming and maybe not as much execution on his end.
No, you know, we definitely executed everything. We executed everything to the T. He got it at the wrong time, you know?
Yeah.
It was like once we got
everything knowledge as to like why he would do something like that, because they say he kicked him after his head hit the floor.
Well, he's a paranoid schizophrenia with different personalities, so it's no telling what he could do, because he went to Chicago with a girl that he met in Hollywood. I begged him not to go. I sent them numerous plane tickets to come back.
His girlfriend. It was just some chick he met in Hollywood.
It was his chick after the day. You know how it go. You love bird shit.
Well, I'm wondering if not the little kid, excuse me, because their family, this Josiah, if he had any involvement with the chick at all. You know, did Terry walk in on him fucking her or something? And that's
that's not what happened. Him and Josiah hung out at the skate park. Him and his girlfriend, they all hung out. Josiah was a good kid, man. I have nothing negative to say about Josiah. He did what anybody was supposed to do for a friend in that situation, but just didn't know what he was dealing with, you know?
I can imagine. Lane, what do you think about this?
When I was reading about all this, when this all happened, there was a lot of people saying that TK's manager had stolen his phone. Like there's this whole I saw tons of Instagram comments.
Instagram. They definitely went live from his Instagram without him being on it. I seen that.
Oh no, for sure. Because once I invested my time and my money into Terry, we came up with a contract that the page was under the business contract. And if he goes crazy, if he flips out, because he had a tendency, you know, to everything positive and just put up crazy shit. And he's like self-destruction. So he'll destroy his own brand to make himself feel better. So what I did was put a clause in the contract that says, if you want to take that route, you could go any way you want to, but you cannot damage the brand that we're building and spending our time and money in. So when he decided to stay in Chicago, I told him, hey, we're making money from this page. You're going to continue to get your money, but until you come back, you're not going to have access to it, because I was trying to protect them from reaching out to these kids and to these people. Because
his phone, you just had access to his account.
I just had access to his account because
similar to what people be doing a BAM, which the tough thing with that is fans, you put yourself in listen, if you do your research on me, you will see that every move that you've made, I've done. And it doesn't work out for you because the fans only care about that person. You know, as people that are, you know, trying to make a name for ourselves, I know that you might feel entitled to something, but at the end of the day, I learned the hard way, man, losing $150,000 of my own money, that you will not be received well by the fans, you know. And you know, now your only real play is to lean into the negativity, which, you know, 99% of people don't know how to do. Lane, am I right about that? I mean, I am a rare bird when it comes to, you know, leaning into the negative press that you may get from working with an unstable celebrity.
Yeah, and dealing with that type of pressure and criticism, a lot of people kill themselves, going to depression, because, you know, it was death threats, it was a lot of shit, you know, name calling.
Well, it's not going to stop now, and that's what you need to prepare yourself for, is that it will continue to go, because he is a legend, especially in the skating world, and there are a lot of people that want answers from you as to what your dealings were and why that kind of stuff went on at the end, because his phone, his account is probably the only leverage he has to give you in a contract. But if you don't have that paperwork actually lined up, then, you know, that's the kind of shit you need to be coming out and saying right away, though, and not trying to hide behind the shit. Lane, am I right about that?
Oh, yeah. I didn't never do an interview. I never even talked to anybody.
This is your first one.
Yeah, like, you know, a lot of people reached out to me. The only reason I did it with you, because I knew you understood because of what you went through.
Right, with BAM.
So I was like, you know, I'll give him the first taste. But
and I don't want to put you under too much pressure. It's just that we'd rather go for it in a real way than have people say that was a bullshit interview and he didn't really, you know, come out with it or whatever. You know?
No, I'm open.
Lane is really a lot bigger into the skating world, so he has probably more questions about Terry Kennedy than I do. You know.
So you guys were making money off of the Instagram account before this all happened?
Yeah, we know we got sponsors. We were selling merch. We were doing a couple things.
I know before this happened, I was actually following Terry Kennedy on a separate account where he was just like posting skate clips all the time and stuff like that. Is there anything like I've seen clips of Terry Kennedy going live and being like, "Hey, this guy won't give me, like, this guy's keeping my account. Like, I can't, like, help me get my account back."
Said that on Instagram.
Yeah, I did that on purpose because I didn't want nobody to get hurt.
I can understand that, but
if he was going to be out there, he needs to be secluded with that girl by themselves, because
but that falls under more of the power of attorney / like guardianship than it does a manager. You know, like.
Yeah, but you know, when you put clauses in contracts, they're there for a reason, to protect the brand.
Right. Vinny,
that's what I was doing.
Bam Margera, he's a walking time bomb. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Jackass had to protect the brand. They had to kick him out of the brand,
and he can't mentally make those decisions. That's like when he started making his page, what came out? They said he was flashing a photographer. They said he tripped out at a meeting. They said a whole lot of stuff that happened because
sometimes
he was on
people
the
need
internet.
sometimes people need to fall back to ash in order to come back into and rise into that phoenix again. So we can't, if he's going through those kind of things as a manager for next time or just at all, what you should know is that, he's not even in the mental state to be selling merch or doing anything creative at all. But you met him at a time he was looking for someone to help him. Because
No, that's not true. I met Terry Kennedy when I was, and we've been friends ever since.
I just mean you met him in a business sense. So you guys came together
in
at
a business sense.
9 months ago.
I took him for 5 months and rehabbed him.
Right.
I literally drug him out of a crack house.
And over the last 20 years, you could imagine that you're probably not the only one who's done that.
No, from that extent to where he was down that bad, yeah, I probably am. Because he was always crazy, but
the reason I find that hard to believe is just because he's been in the limelight for so long, and so people who struggle with addiction, it's not like a new thing by then. It's something.
No, he was a functioning addict before.
He's never killed anybody before, but he's probably
that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's levels to addiction. It's levels to homelessness. At this point, he was pure homeless. Like, I had to help him or he was going to die somewhere in the streets.
But even what he's going through now, you got to think that, this is what people that are supporting him are trying to argue that it really doesn't have anything to do with more than it being an isolated incident that was an accident. Because the cause of death most likely came from his head striking something after, or was it him repeatedly hitting him after? What do you know about the situation? What do you know about it?
The what?
What do you know about what actually happened?
I know everything that happened. I was the first person to talk to Terry. I was the first person to talk to his girlfriend. I was the first person to talk to Josiah's family.
So tell me about it. What did he tell you after it happened? How did it escalate?
I can't say everything word for word. It's an open case, so I can't just go on everything. But what I can say, that Josiah did get hit in the head. Josiah did not fight. Josiah is an innocent kid.
Right.
Much love to Josiah. And what I can say,
and rest in peace to him as well.
Rest in peace.
The family's listening to.
I'll say this: Terry's not a monster, but he needed to be secluded, and that's why the page was taken away from him. Because
why weren't you with him? Why weren't you in Chicago with him if you're his manager?
I can't follow everybody everywhere they go.
Managing a celebrity is a big responsibility.
Yes, but like I said, I can't kidnap him.
No, I know that. Listen.
I can't kidnap him. I can't hold him against his will. He's a grown man.
He's a strong guy too. So you'd have a fight there.
So if he says I'm going to Long Beach to see my family, and the next day he calls me in Chicago, it's nothing I can physically do to stop him.
Yeah. So it's really a lose-lose situation from the beginning for you, but it's a thing that you wanted to see work itself through. I understand the lure of working with legends, man. Bam's not the one that I've worked with. Lane, how do we move forward with this interview, and what do you think about Habibi and his story, and what do you think about his redemption arc, his redemption for him?
I think you can never truly know, what happened in a situation like this. And I also think that, obviously this guy who is, the manager isn't responsible for something that Terry Kennedy physically did somewhere where he wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That being said,
and I think go ahead. Let me let you finish. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, that being said, like, I do see some parallels, like, to Bam Margera. Like, I don't know how you look at it, Vinny, but I would say that Bam signing that contract with Paramount, where they had, control over his day-to-day life, and he had to FaceTime him every day, all the ridiculous things that he had to do. I feel like that kind of drove Bam more towards being a mess. You know what I mean? I don't think those types of restrictions or that type of isolation
it's going to help.
It made Bam kind of sprint the opposite direction.
No, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. And what I was going to say is that when I was working with Bam Jackass thing, because we're talking about 2009, I was doing everything Habibi's doing. Many others tried to do the same when it came to isolating him and getting him help and whatnot. But the thing is, they got to want them to get it. Number one. Number two, One thing you learn about working with these types of celebrities is that when you are working with them, there is no protection that you have on the dollar you invest, the time you invest. There isn't. So Habibi felt defensive in a sense where he's like, I am owed something. I need to get this account and not ruin the brand. But at the same time, it would have never, ever worked either way based on what he's going through, you know? And Bam, it is a similar parallel. And that's probably why they draw to each other during this time in life, because they were hanging out for a while. But what I would say is, even though we've asked the tough questions, maybe you should be thrilled with the fact that we're telling you, you know, we believe the fact that you had nothing to do with this incident with Josiah, you know, and that is a big thing that you, as somebody who wants to continue to work in the entertainment business, should use this as a way to show people, listen to this and know that I had nothing to do with that. Did I do some things that maybe weren't professional in the entertainment world? Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's between me and TK. You get what I'm saying? That's business. But as far as this incident, you had nothing to do with it. And that's a good thing. You know, that I think is a good thing. And that's why I wanted you on the show, to be able to clear that.
Yeah, you know, a lot of the people that's, you know, up in the skateboard industry and just the real world, you know, they understand my position just like you guys. It's more of the fans that are, you know, in the you know, in a sense of fashion. They're delusional and make up their own crazy stories. To them, I'm like Batman or Suge Knight mixed. I don't know what they wanted from me. You know, some kids said, "Why don't I post $1 million bond?" I'm like, you know, I'm not poor, but
I don't have it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Do I have it just to go put up?
Now,
right
it would be nice if there was some kind of union for people that do work with celebrities, to where, you know, we would be able to be compensated through their estate if there were anything that happened out of our control. But I think your best bet would be to kind of use it as a wash, and then use that experience, clear your name, and use that experience to work with some people who are more stable, man. You know, I mean, like, I had to learn that lesson a lot harder than you, because 9 months of your life was the last 5 years of mine. So I really want you to know, like, there is light at the tunnel, as long as you keep being straight up with the fans. And silence doesn't always win. Lane, what do you think about that?
Final comments. Well, you're never going to be able to win over the fans when the person that they're a fan of isn't the face of it. You know,
lean into it, man. Make it your character, like I did somehow. You know, figure out a way to lean into it.
That's what I wanted to ask. I was wondering how is post, you know, this incident, and again, you know, bless everyone involved in what they have to deal with. But as far as Beverly Hills Habibi is concerned, like how have you been dealing with it now? Like, are you over it? I noticed that on Instagram, your bio says #BDSM Dom. So I'm wondering if, like, are you like leaning into the bit? Are you know, going into a new business venture with that?
No. I had kicked back on the whole internet thing. I just took a break, chilled, and now this month I had decided, you know, I'm gonna start working it back up, because I still have a lot of ventures going behind the scenes, because I'm really a behind the scenes type of guy. You know what I mean?
I think this was an important moment for you to be able to clear your name from this situation, and I hope that we were able to do that for you.
No, for sure. I appreciate the opportunity, because a lot of people, they just made up their own thing. TMZ, the no jumper guy, all them people, they just made up what they fucking wanted to say. Especially Adam. Adam just said whatever the fuck came out his ass.
Well, he's looking for the good content, as we are, but we found that interviewing you would be a better way. Is there anything that you want to plug? Your social media? Are you trying to be seen? You know, is there any projects you're working on, or anything you want the fans to know before we end this?
I love Terry Kennedy. Much love to Josiah. We have a lot of products dropping. My marijuana company is dropping. Everything is still dropping. I still got a lot of things going. Follow me at Instagram, Beverly Hills Habibi Show. And it's going to be going crazy pretty soon. I got a lot of content I'm about to drop. We've been still working. I'm still managing other kids. So for anybody going through drug addiction, just know it's real. And if you need help, get help.
Go get it. Good advice, Habibi.
Can I
Habibi,
ask
the
one
manager.
question
Go ahead, Lane.
Do you think that if you were a BDSM sub and not a BDSM dom, you'd have been a better manager?
Sorry, Lane's gonna do a deep dive, man.
That sounds like a sub question.
Wow.
All right. Well, I mean, you know how to sniff them out, man. What can I say?
Yeah. BB, the sub sniffer. That's nice. All right, man. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully we'll have you on again soon.
All right, guys. You guys have a great one.
You too. Later, brother.
All right.
It's the whole, oh, I've known him since I was 13. It's like, okay, I don't know Terry Kennedy.
Right.
So if you're telling me you do, and you've known him since you were 13, and you're assuring me, it's like, I can't just argue with you off of, oh, I have a sense that you're full of shit.
Right.
Like even though that's what it is, there's weird stuff. Like if you look into this, there's comments from Terry Kennedy that are like screenshotted.
I even told him a little bit. He's not a real manager, so he has no experience in the business of a manager. He doesn't have a clue what to do. He basically was like a glorified assistant for TK and somebody that TK could like tell what to do and beat on him with. Now, the other thing is, just based off of previous lies that I've told in the business, he doesn't have any money invested in TK, and he just felt like he was owed something once the shit went down.
I know 100 of these Habibis. You know what I mean? They're guys. People will joke that I'm Ian Ellis's manager. You know what I mean? I'm not. Right. I don't put money into Ian Ellis's pocket. Ian Ellis pays me occasionally. You know what I mean? For editing videos and stuff. But it's just like, if you ask him if he has a manager, he'll say yes, and he'll direct you to me. You know what I mean? But I'm not a real manager.
Yeah, but and even more so, you probably do more as a manager than Habib was doing.
That's true.
I mean,
that's true.
And then at the end of the day, when I asked him what he wanted to plug or talk about, it was kind of a trick question because he really should have just, said something about Josiah and his family. But at the end of the day, he started plugging like a weed company that hasn't been released
yet.
And
that was the thing why I asked. I was like, well, what type of ventures were you guys working on? You know what I mean? Because all I've heard of is weed companies.
Kind of like a Mr. Balenciaga type.
That's exactly what I was thinking as the interview started. I was like, this guy reminds me exactly of the person that managed Justin Silva.
He might even be Justin's manager.
He might not.
Or he should be Justin's manager. Maybe he'd be better than Mr. Balenciaga.
Well, I don't know. Mr. Balenciaga doesn't have any bodies on him as far as I can tell. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong, but...
And I'm not trying to make it like a racial thing at all, but like now we're 0 for 2 with black guys being talent managers. Like maybe it's just not like, how like they're dominant in sports and
they're usually the talent, right? It's okay, you can say it.
Yeah, and so
they're
it's like
talented to be managers.
To manage talent. Like the talent managing is left for the guys like the dude who managed NWA and stole all their shit, or the guy who ran Nickelodeon and like kids' toes and.
I don't think a manager should be like getting gold encrusted chains and posing up selfies on Instagram. You know what I mean?
A manager definitely has my look and body, like a bald white. It's just like. So yeah, no, I definitely got that sense. And it's the same kind of thing with Justin's manager when they're doing a show and he's talking about how big the production is and how much money he's got into it and all this stuff. And it's just like, dude, that's the kind of stuff you tell people to invest with you, not somebody you're trying to convince is a big deal.
That's a pitch. That's not, you're not trying to get me to show up.
Stop selling me is what we say, like just stop selling me on this bullshit, but the reason I kind of had a little bit of a nice angle toward this guy and wasn't super, super rough on him is I did see that stack of cash on his Instagram page today. So I gotta think that there's gotta be something for me in this, man. You know what I mean? And it's like, I gotta, so you're going to hear me sometimes buttering people up. And that's when you should immediately search their IG and just see the stack of cash. You'll be like, okay, that makes sense.
It's really such a shitty situation.
I really hope
I can't help but notice that there's some fuckery about, even though I can't pinpoint it, but I really don't want to make light of it as much as we are totally making light of it today.
For sure. And I do want anybody that's listening that knows Josiah or is in his family to know that, of course I am a stand-up comedian and this is a comedy podcast, but at the same time, I really do have you guys in my prayers and condolences, even though I don't know the kid. I know what it's like to lose people while working in this business and around you. And, I've lost family as well. So I know how that pain will never go away. And I assume some might be listening because they want to hear what this kid has to say. But for now, what we have to give him the benefit of the doubt with is that his alibi is that he wasn't even in the with him which, you know, I don't see how he can be connected to the crime itself. I think at a quick glance, you can see that, you know, Bam and I have been through similar things. And so, you know, it worked out that we got the interview. And I think that after he hears this, even hearing the things I say, he would look at me and you as real dudes who aren't going to hold back on what we say. And whether he likes it or not, he could come back on. So even if he comes back on ready to come down our throat, I'd allow that just the same. And at the same time, though, man, you know, when we get those interviews, we got to keep them rolling, whether we believe in that or not, because we will find out who's real and who's not on this show.
And that's another thing. No one wants to hear my cockamamie crackpot conspiracy theories. Now they might after hearing the interview. But no one wants to hear my theories about what did or didn't happen with TK and his manager when the manager is right here to speak. There's something about that phone or that Instagram account. There's something because Terry had a. So if you're
now it's deactivated, that counts no more.
Yeah, that now it's gone. So much.
So
for
that's
the brand,
the fishy
right?
part. Is like, hey, what were you doing with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you change the name? How do I know you didn't change the name? And he doesn't have a weed company with 40,000 followers right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or
there's things that need to be looked at that I
Vinny
don't.
Beedle is scamming some of his fans in the DMs that could have been exploited later on.
That's.
You know?
I think there. Like I said, if you look into this, there's YouTube videos and stuff about this guy.
I'll get into that this week and I'll watch some and we'll see if we can.
And it's just theories.
Ian, if Ian comes on the show next week, I think he'll want to explore this a bit further as well.
I would like to talk. Ian will have a good take on this because I tell Ian about all the big skate drama.
You know, the thing about what I've noticed is he's similar to me in the way that when he stole Terry's phone, he didn't want the limelight to be out of his range. So I don't think he'll be able to resist the attention. But yeah, guys. I mean, listen, if you're listening to the show now, go and hear Lane on With Apologies every Sunday on the Ian Ellis LLC YouTube channel. Like and subscribe, comment on that channel. That Scumbag Vinny sent you. I want to see some of that shit to happen because I'm tired of you folks telling me you're going to support us. You got to get involved in this universe because we are just getting started. And I do believe that as this show grows, Ian will get a little bit of resurgence under his own ass to keep things going. But aside from that, go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notifications, like, comment, and follow us on social media. My name is Scumbag Vinny Beedle. Until next time, peace, everybody.